Trista from the 6,000 Pound Diaries is Dr. Now, Season 1, Episode 5, that premiered in 2025. Trista is 41 years old, living in Atlanta, Georgia, and she says that with her weight, she's unable to move very much. She's in a lot of pain. One day she wants to travel, she wants to get remarried again, and so she's seeking out the help of Dr. Now to help lose weight. Growing up, her mother had 3 daughters. Each of them had different fathers. She never knew her father. Her mother ended up marrying one of the fathers, who became her stepfather, and she said that he treated her and her sister very differently from the child that was his biological daughter. He would pick up his daughter, spin her around, show her a lot of affection, and he just never showed that to Trista. And he would say horrible things to Trista and say I can't pick you up because you're too big. And all of this led to her turning to food. By the time she was 14, she was 200 pounds, and her stepfather continued to call her different names and just things that were very specific to her weight and her weight gain. By 18, she was 400 pounds. She was working at a fast food restaurant, so she saved up enough money and she was able to move out on her own. By the time she was 25, she was 600 pounds. She said that she was seeking a lot of validation and a lot of love from different men. But she did meet someone special. They dated for around 13 years, got married, and she was actually very happy in her relationship. And this led her to putting her health first. She lost some weight, and by the time she was 30, she was in the 400s. She did become pregnant and was really excited to become a mom, but she went into labor extremely early. I think she said around 26 weeks. And very sadly, her son did pass away about 11 days after he was born. And shortly after that, her husband decided to leave her. So in a span of only around 3 years, she went from being 437 pounds back up to 600 pounds because of the grief and loss. And she says she just wants to feel feminine again and just wants to be self-confident again. It is month 1. Her mom is coming to pick her up to go to the airport. They're going to fly to Houston, Texas together. Trista's never been on a plane, so she's not really sure how everything works. She's late. She hasn't packed anything like that. They get to the airport. They're trying to check in. She gets a wheelchair. They get up to the desk, and it is past the time that the plane has already left. And she thought that the departure time was her check-in time. So they have to go home and they try again the next week. And this whole scene it's comical. She gets a wheelchair and then her mom shows up with the wheelchair and then someone from the airport shows up with a wheelchair. They go to security first before they check in the bag, so they have to go back and do that. She doesn't have her boarding pass. There's this huge line and just the whole thing was again comical. And then they finally get to the plane. The plane is there this time and they have some people that are helping take her onto the plane. And the whole time she's just woo, woo, oh my goodness, I'm on the plane. She was so nervous though and so scared to do this, and every little sound, every little bump, she's should it be doing that? Should it be doing that? But it was, I don't know, it was just just the whole scene was very comical. She gets to Dr. Now's. She's 634 pounds. She says that her own goal is to get down to 200 pounds. And he's if you were 200 pounds today, what would be different? And she's I would go to the beach. I'd be able to walk in the sand more comfortably. I'd have a bikini. I'd be turning heads at the beach. And Dr. Now's oh girl, you're going to get in trouble. So he gives her the plan and he says, lose 50 pounds in the next 2 months. I'm going to send a dietitian to your house. And also you need to start seeing a therapist. So the registered dietitian comes to her house. They're going over everything. Basically, they throw everything away and start from scratch. She meets with a therapist. They're going over her childhood and the trauma from her stepfather and just not feeling loved, and also just a lot of the trauma that her mom still imposes on her. And she said that she felt like she was punishing herself for the decisions she'd made and the things that had happened to her, which led her to gain so much weight in such a short period of time. A few weeks later, she says she's moving a lot. She's getting up, she's moving around. She says her arms feel lighter. Another one of her goals was to actually do the household chores by herself and not have her goddaughter help her so much. So she lives in an apartment and there's a communal trash can that you have to walk quite a distance to take the trash to. So she gets the trash bag, she's walking, she makes it about halfway there, and then she just can't make it the rest of the way. Her goddaughter at first is really cheering her on, come on, yeah, you got this. But a few weeks later, she tries again and she makes it all the way to the dumpster and all the way back. It is month 3, she's back in Houston, Texas to see Dr. Now. She weighs in at 620 pounds. That is a weight loss of 14 pounds in the last 2 months. She says that she struggled a lot with the emotional eating, that the therapy and other things have just brought a lot of that up. Dr. Now is you really just need to open your eyes to what you're doing because the scale doesn't lie. He says, I need to go to the therapist again, 40 pounds in the next 2 months. She meets the therapist. She brings up her son that she lost. The therapist recommends having like a funeral or a celebration of life or something because she didn't do that at the time that he passed because it was just too much. And she also says, like, maybe talk to your mom about some of the things that contributed to your weight gain with your childhood and all the things that are going on currently. So Trista, her mom, her goddaughter, and like a friend or something, they go to this park that's nearby. They're going to have the celebration of life ceremony. And like while they're on the way there in the car, the mom and her are just bickering back and forth. And she's basically like, I'm not doing this today. This is supposed to be a special day and I'm not having this energy. So the mom's like, just drop me off. I won't go then. But they arrive at the park. She says everything she needs to say and kind of has like a little service for him and just lets her family and her friends know that I'm getting back to me, I'm putting me first, and I need all y'all's help to lose the weight and to regain who I am as a person. In month 5, she is 603 pounds, a recent weight loss of 17 pounds, 31 in total. And Dr. Now says that I need you to continue with therapy. You need to figure out what's going on. And at this rate, if you don't start gaining soon, it will take you over 5 years to lose the weight. And I don't know if you'll live that long. So he sets her the goal of 15 pounds in 1 month. Trista confronts her mom about everything with her child and her stepfather and just everything that's happened ever since then. And her mom apologizes. Month 6, she is 598 pounds, a recent weight loss of 5 pounds, 36 in total. She's proud that she's under 600 pounds, but Dr. Now is not so impressed. He said if you would have kept with the program, you could have lost over 200 pounds at this point. He says, I need you to keep up with the therapist. I need you to keep up with the registered dietitian. You need to stick to the plan. And he sets her the goal to lose 40 pounds in the next 2 months. She finishes and says she's not giving up on herself. Dr. Now, please don't give up on me. And he says, I don't give up on people, but also if you're not following the plan and I'm giving you every tool, there's nothing more that I can do. And she's basically like, I'm going to show him, I'm going to get down to 200 pounds, I'm going to get that bikini, and I'm going to turn heads, and I'm going to show him. So what has she been up to since she was on the show? There's not going to be like a big update because her show just premiered fairly recently, meaning that production also stopped pretty recently. I don't know exactly when, but I know like in Grace's episode, she gave a few timelines on her social media, and basically they stopped the filming only a few weeks before her episode premiered. So I'm wondering if that's also possibly what happened with Trista. I did creep a little bit on her social medias. She does have Instagram where she's pretty active. She's posting every few days. I think she posted most recently there about a week ago. She does repost a lot of people's content, but there are some things sprinkled in there that's like showing her working out pretty frequently, showing some of the meals she's cooking. She doesn't actually mention how much she's lost. She did say at the very end of the episode that she had lost another 8 pounds, which that would have put her down to 590 pounds and a 44-pound total weight loss. So she doesn't mention her progress or any additional weight loss or anything like that on her Instagram that I could find anytime recently. But it does look like at least she is still trying to stick with the program. She's trying to do the exercises and she's trying her best to get to that bikini goal. I hope that we see more updates from her soon. I hope that she is living a wonderful life and that she achieves all of her goals and that she continues to do well and put her health and herself first.